70% of our waking day is spent in some sort of communicative activity, and of that 70%, 35% of the time is usually spent listening. Of that 35%, if you haven't taken a course that involved understanding the different types of listening, you have the potential to be listening incorrectly. Lucky for you, Lesson 3 is all about listening. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to walk you through different aspects of the lesson to help you get started. For this section, you are going to be reading Chapter 5 and viewing the Chapter 5 PowerPoint. As a reminder, this PowerPoint is just an additional learning tool for you. I've posted right after the PowerPoint a brief tutorial on how to upload your videos, record and submit your videos to YouTube, because you will be practicing using that again for our discussion titled Situations in Listening. So I ask that you read this quote and answer the following questions. You will be answering your questions by recording them on a video, uploading that video to YouTube, and then copying and pasting your YouTube link for your fellow classmates to view in the discussion board. It's just like your introductory video, only it's specifically geared towards what I'm having you do for this particular discussion, which relates to listening. When you are responding to your classmates, I ask that you use at least 3 to 5 sentences in length for a minimum of 2 replies. Your original post should be posted by Saturday, February 10th, and your replies will be due by February 11th, all by 11:59 p.m. After that, you are going to engage in some listening and paraphrasing. If you click on the gray box below, there is a Word document of the guidelines. You're just going to find someone at work, home, school, or some sort of social setting where you can have a brief casual conversation for about 5 to 10 minutes. Think of some sort of topic that you want to discuss with the person, and make sure you include 3 questions when you're engaging in this listening and paraphrasing activity. While the person is speaking, you're going to paraphrase when appropriate, and while you're paraphrasing, you should attempt to try to change the speaker's wording, offer an example, and attempt to reflect on underlying themes of the conversation. Then you're going to write a brief paragraph reflecting on what the conversation was about and include the questions that you asked. In a complete sentence following that brief paragraph, you are going to write your response to the following questions. Which approaches seemed to help the speaker most? Was it when you changed their wording, offered an example, or reflected on underlying themes? Next, in a complete sentence format, you are going to write up a response to which approach felt most natural. And you might be thinking, well, what approach are you talking about, Heather? The approach that I'm talking about is, was it more natural for you to change the speaker's wording, offer an example, or reflect on underlying themes? And then in a complete sentence format, identify which approach you feel you need the most work on and why. And again, that approach is it changing the speaker's wording, offering an example, or reflecting on underlying themes that you think you need the most help on? This particular assessment is worth 4 points, and on the document I have the guidelines for you to see how you're going to be graded. It's a simple present, not present. So in one paragraph, did you articulate what the conversation was about? Did you tell me which approach seemed to help the speaker most? Which approach felt most natural to you? And which approach you need to improve upon and why? You will write up your responses on a Word document and then submit that Word document to the Dropbox titled Listening and Paraphrasing Dropbox. This will be due by Sunday, February 11th by 11:59 p.m. And then you're going to be completing a listening survey. There's no right or wrong answer here, so just open the file, the listening self-assessment file. There's 2 sections here. One section is the survey, and then the second section is answering some questions. So when you're taking this assessment, you're going to read through the responses and pick which one is the most appropriate to you. And the way you can pick a response is just if you highlight the number that corresponds to how you feel about the statement, and then just highlight it. You can do that for each of them. And then respond to the following questions. What grade did you receive? Would your family members agree? Your friends, employers, and then why or why not? In what areas do you need to improve the most on? Are there commonalities between the categories that you scored the lowest on? And how many relate to poor listening habits? What does that tell you? So go ahead and write on this document here, highlight the appropriate number, and then write up your responses underneath each of the questions. Save it somewhere to your computer, and then upload it to the Dropbox titled Listening Survey Dropbox. This will be due by Sunday, February 11th, 11:59 p.m. To complete this lesson, you have a Chapter 5 quiz. 10 questions are on this quiz. 5 questions are multiple choice. 5 questions are true and false. You are allowed to take the quiz multiple times up until the due date or until you reach a 100, whatever comes first. And E360 will record your last attempted score. You will need to notify me if you want a different score recorded in the grade book. And then just a reminder of what needs to be done in lesson 3, and then you're all done. If you have any questions about anything related to these assignments or anything in the course, please feel free to email, call, or stop by. Thank you.